Now, I don't particularly like Trump, but I'm not against him. I did not vote for that damn fool that they had running against him, that racist what I heard the first time in 1972 when I was doing an intern thing at a DC think tank, when he was out there with James O. Eastland, John B. Stennis, Faubus came in from Arkansas. That's the fool who said they'd never integrate the Little Rock High School. They had Wallace there, who was wheeled in, and they had Byrd, former Grand Dragon of the Klan, and they were talking about this young man who had a stupid looking ducktail like he was back in the 1950s, was the last true yellow dog Dixiecrat. And they were talking about Joe Biden, who got
Mm.
up there, and when the speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it.
All right, guys. So allegedly, black people are waking up in this country to the massive mistake that they made going out and voting for Joe Biden in droves. Okay, now it only took an inflation crisis, a gas crisis, a border crisis, a crime crisis, a foreign policy crisis. It only took a bunch of crises, right? And 1.5 years of Joe Biden's presidency for them to realize the massive mistake that they made. Now, people like myself and other smart people out there tried to tell black folks, people like Ice Cube as well too, Lil Wayne, a lot of folks who are actually thinking with their heads that, hey, maybe you shouldn't just go out here and vote for Joe Biden because allegedly Trump is a racist, right? Maybe you should vote based off something more than just if somebody is perceived to be a racist or not, okay? But if that's how you're gonna vote, right? If you're really gonna vote based off whether or not somebody's racist, then maybe Joe Biden is not your guy, okay? Because I think that I can say this objectively. There's more proof of Joe Biden being a racist than Trump. In fact, I'm going to react to this video of black people, right? Black New Yorkers who were shocked to hear real quotes by Joe Biden that people would define as being racist, okay, or offensive towards black people, okay? And their reactions to these quotes are going to be absolutely fascinating because there's a lot of people that are unaware of Joe Biden's history of making comments that don't necessarily sound good to black people when you hear them come out of his mouth. However, again, this guy's been saying stuff like this for years, and he's been accused by even his own vice president, okay, of being a racist. So with that being said, keep in mind that this video takes place right after the 2020 election, like during December, okay, just so you guys get proper context in terms of the time frame in which this video takes place. So let's go ahead and get into it.
And you're going to tell me how racist that quote is from 10 being most racist, 1 being least racist.
I've been around. I went to all white high school, so I'm ready for this.
Referring to Barack Obama, he said, first mainstream African American who is bright, articulate, and clean. How racist?
10.
Who is bright, articulate, and clean.
Yeah, that's up there. That's like got to be like a 10, a 9. Yeah, because it's like you're implying that most black people, most African Americans aren't that way.
I never understood why people say that calling somebody articulate or a black person articulate is racist, okay? Because I get that comment all the time, right? And I never thought of it as racial or potentially racial until somebody told me that it might be racial. I think one of my friends asked me the other day, it was like, do you think that somebody calling you articulate is racist? And I said, not really. But apparently some people think that it is because I guess that's implying that most black people don't speak well, okay? That they can't really articulate themselves in a clear and concise way. Again, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily racist to say that. I also don't know where people get this stereotype that black people are dirty, okay? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I have, friends and I know people from all different types of races, okay? And I can tell you, by far, right, if we're comparing races in regards to cleanliness, black people are definitely not the dirtiest, okay? They're definitely not the dirtiest for sure. So I don't necessarily know where that comes from, but I can definitely understand why, somebody may interpret comments like that to have some type of racial connotation, even though I don't necessarily think those comments in and of themselves are really racist.
It's just like, that was just like, moderate racist.
It's kind of racist. I would say probably 9. Just because somebody's articulate and clean and they happen to be black, that's not a reason to say it like that. So, I would say that on a scale
On the racist-o-meter.
8.
I was a 7.
A 7.
Yeah.
So still racist,
That's still
Yeah.
little.
but not crazy racist.
Yeah, not crazy, like, not huge.
Right.
Like,
Say that's like a 9.
That's a 9. Wow.
That's a 9. That's a 9.
So he said, if you don't vote for me, talking about black people, then you ain't black.
That's 10. You don't vote for me, you're not black.
Bruh, that's like, come on, bro. Like, that is a 10. Come on. I mean, has Trump ever said anything like that? Okay, to that level? I don't think so. Okay, they get on Trump because Trump said, look at my African American over there, right? Something like that. Right? But Joe Biden says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, which is basically implying that if you don't vote Democrat, then you're not black. You only can be black if you vote Democrat. And as a white male liberal, I can tell you if you're black or not. This guy apparently is taking forever to think about how racist that comment might be. Okay? Now, again, I'm not one of these people that, says that everything is racist, obviously, right? I mean, my point in this video is to point out that the left always talks about all the racism on the right that, honest to God truth, I really don't see all that much of, to be quite honest. I don't see a bunch of racist comments like this. But again, on the left, on the other hand, it's just in your face, right? It is in your face, but they claim that the left, they're the side that's fighting against racism, and they're not the racists, right? Again, I just find that part of it to be fascinating.
I'm going to say that one, definitely not as high as the other one.
Okay.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
But I would say that's like a 6-7.
A 6-7.
Bro, come on.
6.5. I like that. I like the accuracy on that.
Yeah.
The exactitude.
And for someone to imply that is a bit like, who are you to tell me if I'm black or not? So yeah, I'd say that's about a 10.
Well, I mean, Joe Biden thinks that he's a slave owner. That's why, right? He wants black people tilling the Democrat plantation. And if you're black and you're not tilling the Democrat plantation, then you ain't really black, right? That's what he thinks. That's literally what he thinks.
I'm gonna give that an 8.
An 8.
That's just a dumbass comment, right?
Referring to inner city busing, bringing black people to white schools, he said that would create a racial jungle. I don't want my kids going to a racial jungle. How racist is that?
He definitely was not down with integration, right? Biden was not down with integration. He was not, okay? He was a Dixiecrat, right? That is what he was.
It's like a 9.
By doing that, you're creating racial jungles. And I don't want my children
That's a 10.
going to That's a 10.
That's a 10.
Spot, off the
I
bat.
was bust. I understand that. That's a 10.
Straight up.
Straight up.
If you guys haven't, you should listen to Judge Joe Brown talk about Joe Biden and Joe Biden's past and who he was back in the day. Again, it is very enlightening and eye-opening stuff.
I would say 10.
That's a reader racist quote.
Yeah.
A racist-
Definitely, I would say 10 too.
10.
That's a 10.
Why would you say something like that? That's like pretty much saying that's a Jedi. If you had a 20, it would be a 20.
That was as racist as you can get.
Yeah,
That's
it's just
racism in a book. Like, if you want to be racist, you got to say that line.
Like, who said that?
You might as well just
Right.
say the N-word. Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
In referring to inner city Baltimore, he said it's a rat-infested hellhole.
That's 100% true. It is.
So
It
not
goes
a,
on a lot.
so not a racist statement.
Not a racist statement at all.
Like in 1.
So they're giving these people, black people, the Trump quotes, and now they're saying that Trump quotes are not as racist as Joe Biden quotes. This is interesting.
Living in poverty and your schools are no good. Is that a racist statement?
No. Not whatsoever.
I would say probably 1.
Look at 3. That's true. See, these are facts. So you can't put it in a racist category because he's stating something that's really basically facts.
our inner cities are a disaster. Is that a racist statement?
Saying that, but it's not that racist. I would say probably 2.
Been like that forever.
Okay.
I don't feel it's a racist statement. It is something that's real that need to be changed.
Probably, I would put that 0.
The quote about Barack Obama being bright, articulate, and clean, Joe Biden.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was his VP. Like, wow.
Yeah, a little surprised?
Yeah.
The quote about you ain't black, you don't vote for me was Joe Biden.
Wow, he said that?
He did say that.
And they went out there and voted for him. They went out there and voted for him, not knowing that this is what this man said. And I guarantee you they voted against Trump mainly because they thought Trump was a racist. Again, this is how much the mainstream liberal media has failed to properly educate the American people.
Wow. Wow.
You seem blown away.
Yeah, because it's just like, as someone who's, I'm not gonna lie, an open Democrat, like, you would expect that when you represent that party, you wouldn't feel comfortable saying things like that in the open and on media. So when you have so many people, specifically black people, that are backing you, and you just felt comfortable saying something like that.
Saying you don't vote for me, you ain't a black person, Joe Biden.
Yeah, he did say that. I remember.
That was viral.
Yeah.
Joe Biden again?
Joe Biden again. Joe Biden said to Charlemagne the God.
Wow.
And the last quote about the racial jungle with busing was Joe Biden.
Bruh, she regretting that vote, boy. I bet she was out there vote for Joe Biden. She was one of those people that was in the street dancing, right, when Joe Biden got elected because Orange Man out of office. She regretting that vote, boy.
It makes me fearful.
Everybody knows that Joe Biden's racist. Why?
Does everybody know that?
I think you should know that Joe Biden ran 3 times for president and he's racist. He never won unless it was an actual black person on his ticket. So.
Because most people were shocked to hear those quotes that came from Joe Biden.
Really?
Yeah, most people here did not know that.
It's very sad.
You think the Democratic Party has taken the black vote for granted?
Definitely. 100%.
They want our vote, but it's not nothing being done to make a difference as far as the conditions and the changes that we really need. It goes to a deaf ear. It's like nobody's listening to what needs to be done.
I feel like they come in and do a photo op and try to highlight it instead of really fixing the issue. Because later on down the line, you get in office, you turn your back on us.
He bent. He bent.
Of course, everything has
always been for years.
I would say somewhat. I might also say that when they need what, that's when they come to us.
Right.
And after that, hey, you don't see them.
Of course they do. They only use it for their gain when they trying to win an election.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I genuinely feel that way. I find that when black people, when it's time to vote, they kind of like go to the black community like, we have your vote, we have your back, right? And black people are like, yeah, and then it's like as soon as the vote's done and you have it, it's like you drop us like a hot sack of potatoes and you just like walk away from us. It's like you don't do anything for our communities, you don't do anything for like us in general.
Most of the time, they don't do what they're supposed to do for black people. So it's like no matter what, they're gonna vote for us anyway because that's how we've been conditioned to vote for Democrats.
See, the problem is that people are kind of thinking about it wrong. They expect politicians in the government to do something for them when really you should be asking your government, what can you do to help me help myself, right? You shouldn't be asking the government to pull you out of poverty. You should be saying, what can you do as the government to make it easier for me to pull myself out of poverty, right? You should say, how can you, not get in the way of me pulling myself out of poverty? That's the question you really should be asking yourself, okay? Because a lot of these people get disappointed because Democrats say, hey, we're going to give you something, right? We're going to give you something. And they don't want to vote for Republicans. Republicans say, hey, we ain't giving you nothing, but we'll, try to create conditions in an environment where you can pull yourself up, right? Where you can help yourself. And see, they look at that and they say, well, that's, bad because they're not giving me anything. But actually, no, that's actually the right mentality. You should help yourself, right? You shouldn't be dependent on the government to help you. And anybody saying they're going to give you a handout in order for them to actually help you, they're trying to make you dependent on them. That's not helping anybody.
You say Barack Obama did anything to improve your life over that 8 years?
No, not at all. He did nothing for me.
In the 8 years he was president, do you think he made a significant improvement in your day-to-day life?
Not me.
Did your lives get better under Barack
None
Obama?
of them have improved our
The only
lives.
thing that improved was that a
her
black
mother's
man was in
life
the
or
office.
her mother's life. Nothing has changed.
And I guarantee you they're saying that about Kamala. They're saying that about Kamala. Okay, and they'll keep saying that even though we have a black woman on the Supreme Court, Miss Ketanji Brown Jackson. They're going to keep saying it. But hey, you know, representation. We got a black LGBTQ, lesbian, immigrant press secretary, right? That's the Democrats' idea of doing something for black people, is putting faces out there, right? But no actual real changes or anything like that. So, again, I found that video to be fascinating, especially fast forward a year and a half later. You know, kind of looking back at it and saying like, yeah, I mean, you know, this is what happens when you vote for people based off how racist they are or your perception of how racist they are. Yeah, they don't have to do anything for you. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.